Hello everybody, this is Duntes. So I've always been intrigued by things that I have never really done before, and this is definitely one of them. A low level twink. Most people use this for PvP, but in my case I'm gonna turn this Paladin into a PvM monster. Now, you do get experience and whatnot, but still, if you just wanted to have some fun for like, I don't know, a few minutes, you could do that. But of course, most people are gonna use this for PvP, so for the guide part, I'm also gonna talk in the mindset of PvP, but the build that I'm showing off is PvM based. Just wanted to kind of mention that. Anywho, this Twink Paladin, let's just have some fun now. This is normal player difficulty. Yeah, let's just go for it. I can just quickly show you the little pack down here, and then we will just quickly run down to, let's see. Yeah, I just need to pop players 8. I figure I might as well show that in the little intro here as well. Let's just go to like Frozen Tundra or something like that. I believe there is always an elite pack up here or whatever. Yeah, okay, this is good enough. So you can see that even on players 8 I'm able to kinda do well enough. It's not like I'm one-shotting the mobs, at least not the larger health ones. But yeah, even on players 8 I am pretty much just owning things up, even in Act 5 on a level 19 Paladin. It's pretty hilarious to see, and yeah, let's move on. So with everything you're doing for the first time, there's also a learning process. And the two guides that I personally used myself are both on JSP. They are pretty much the exact items, a few variants here and there, but yeah, first of all, thank you to Elusive, and then the next one is Ryx. They're basically the same ones, and I will have both of them in the description below if you're kind of more into like a written guide that is also, you know, more PvM or PvP focused, because obviously this these guides here, the people who actually complete the builds on live servers, you know, actually get the gear, they use it for PvP, and yeah, in ranked tournaments and whatnot, for only that specific level bracket. So one of the things that I also learned a lot was using Hero Editor. I thought I was done learning it, but I really did try to make all the gear completely legit this time, and I think I got pretty close. Like, I think I maybe screwed up the mana part a little bit. The life should be perfect, you know, correct and whatnot. I think all the items also got pretty much correct. I can just quickly show them here. One thing is also the circlet here, and yeah, I think this ring, yeah, the ring and the circle, both of them would be like ideal drops that are likely never going to happen, or even to be like found, sold, whatever. But to kind of also make it fair, I only went with one socket in this helm here. It can spawn with 2 sockets. And the ring here is a known dupe. Yeah, I forgot to add like a little requirement, but that's kind of like a, yeah, that happens when you make raw items in here. And I haven't really figured out a way to add a level requirement. But anyway, as much as I did search for also in that guide that I just showed before, he was talking about the ring here. It's a known, you know, duped item that apparently doesn't require more than, you know, level 19 to equip for the live version of the dupe itself. But yeah, such a ring here for such a low level, that's pretty freaking insane. Yeah. I hope you will enjoy this guide, because I really did try to, you know, make it fun and make it legit if you're also know interested in following it yourself, because it's actually not too bad getting most of these items. You could quite easily do that, I would actually say. So let's cover the stats first. Strength just to wear your Klegar's sword. I think the next one was the shield. Yeah, there is another shield base which I forgot about. You can use something else than Aryan shield, but for the most part it's just getting enough strength for your Klegar's 2 sword. Dexterity, I do believe that I was maxed cap easily with pretty much any shield at this level. You know, with the dexterity from the ring, etc. You know, I'm getting quite a bit of dexterity from that one, whatever. But yeah, you really just want max block, and it should be pretty easy to get with an Aryan shield, so yeah, might as well get it. And then rest of the points into vitality. Now, if you for some reason feel like, that PVM PVM fun for like 20 minutes would be fun to do, you could go with more energy, because again, 40-ish mana is a little low when Seal does cost 2 mana, and there's also exist mana burn mobs that are kinda annoying to deal with. But yeah, let's show some damage here. 1.2k with Might Aura, and then Might Aura is only at 4 skills as well, which is pretty freaking insane. The Seal attack rating was enough to pretty much hit anything in Act 5 at like 70% chance to hit. Ideally, I would have gotten maybe 4,000 attack rating, maybe 3,500 or something, but the only way to perhaps get that would be to get less of these 6 maximum damage charms and turn them into raw attack rating alive, and I didn't really feel like that, because the small charms down here are already the perfect roll. 12 attack rating, 15 life for the level is the max, so yeah. And then defense, yeah, you can't really get much defense for such shit items as these items are. Yeah, just looking over it, I think most of the items was also made with the perfect defense. I believe Cow Kings can roll with 41 defense. Oh yeah, maybe I fucked up the shield as well, but anywho, if you really push the defense, you can get above 200 with the gear items that I show. So keep that in mind if you're like into that sort of really high-end stuff, if you're actually able to get the items. And then life, the fun life, I was really surprised when I saw I had above 500, and I think it's mostly just down to these charms here, and yeah, the gear is not that full of life. I mean, like we get 20 from the rings here and 40 from the angelic, but I really don't see how in general I even managed to get that much life. But I know I did it correct, because I can actually just quickly showcase it now as well. So there you go, 340 health at level 19. I hope I got that right now in the editor. I really did try to make that part legit at least. But again, 340 health already at this level, that would be quite a bit, I would say. But that's also due to, again, putting all points into vitality nearly. So it doesn't really surprise me that much. Another thing you could probably also notice now is that I only have 915 damage, whereas before I had 1.2k. So all these charms here and whatnot, they really do matter for the max damage. It's like percentage wise, it's a crazy amount. It's like, 1/4 your damage just comes from the charms alone. It's absolutely ridiculous. Actually, it's more than that, because you lose a ton of attack rating as well. Like I can just show you one of these ones, how much attack rating you get from just one freaking grand charm there. So yeah, the hardest part about the build would probably just getting like the shield and a possible helm, but I will cover that more. But in general, just getting the small charms and the grand charms are very hard. That's definitely a given, but they matter so much. So with the stats out of the way, let's cover the very complicated build. Nah, not really. So with all the quests done, all the quests in the whole freaking Act 5, 1, 2, 4, whatever, you get 29 to skills, the remaining points that you can spend. 4 into might is, I was reading a bit about it, and it does make sense. Like, you really don't need a stronger aura than this, and then nothing obviously into defensive. Like, I was considering maybe just trying to get like Vigor or having Prayer. I just can't really see the point in it, because you're pretty much an unstoppable beast regardless. And do believe the Cow King's boots also had 30% faster onward, which is a huge amount for this level. Most boots only have like 10 or 20 at this level, so getting 30 from boots is very sweet. Yeah, so I don't really think there's any point in talking about defensive auras more. And let's just cover combat skills then. Smite charts. If you're going into PvP, obviously you're gonna have to change the build around. Again, link in the description below for kind of more into that. But for the showcase of this video, this build, I'm just gonna talk about the PvP and PvM side of the build itself. Seal, you really just wanna get this up to like 5 hits. That is 5 hits around you, adjacent enemies as it's called in this description here. And that's sacrificed as a synergy to Seal, and that's pretty much it. I could also mention perhaps something like, why we put extra points into sacrifice over Seal. It's just because sacrifice does give more damage than putting raw points into Seal. However, you do want Seal just a little bit up, so it gets like, that extra 5 hits and so forth. But that's pretty much the build, very simple. So with all the easy stuff out of the way, let's cover the gear. First of all, we'll start with the Merchant, because I actually was kinda interested in this one, if I could even tweak this one to be something insane as well. And lo and behold, of course I did. So Coif or Glory Helm. Perhaps there are a better rare helm out there, sort of like the helmet I'm wearing on the Paladin right now. But to kind of just keep it a little more simple, I went with just the best unique helm at this level. 100 to attack rank, that's the dual that I put in, so a perfect diamond only requires level 18 to equip. Was it level 18 to equip. And hits blind targets, that like the Warlock's dim vision curse, so it can be like a little bit of crowd control. That's pretty cool. Some good amount of defense, especially with the missile, which is very handy versus archers, those the archers that fires with fire and whatnot. You see the merc getting killed pretty easily by that. Also, again, you can really leech from undead, so that's a pretty sweet thing. Bit of lightning resistant attacks, takes lightning damage of 7. Like, this helm is decent enough, especially the hits blind target. And then of course I went with a Twitch roll, just like on the Paladin. Twitch roll is just so insane. Everyone knows that this armor here is probably a bit too good for its level. Increased attack speed, which is very good. Faster hit recovery. Increased attack to blocking, that's not something that's gonna help in this case on the Merchant. And then, decent amount of defense, like even just the Eve part, even when I got an Eve just for fun, it's very nice. Strength and dexterity as well is always good. And then lastly, the little weapon. So there wasn't any choices here. Polearms are complete crap at this level. I don't think there's any javelins. I do believe that like 2 Merchants can use javelins. And then there was really only spears left. And luckily this spear just has everything that you could possibly want. Enhanced damage, lifesteal, open wounds, strength and life. This roll here, I don't even think it rolls that varied. So like you find any of these and slap it on an Act 2 Merchant this level, and it's just gonna be a beast. So I got like modifiers, open wounds. I got increased attack speed, life leads, decent amount of defense, life, and some crowd control. This setup actually has a lot of cool things for it, especially with such a low level. So that was the Merchant. Oh, and of course we're using a prayer, because that's the best aura by far when you don't have access to the offensive Act 2 Nightmare aura. So let's cover the gear then. Devs and devs, we use this for the increased attack speed. That 30% increased attack speed is absolute massive. It's for reaching the breakpoint the fastest, whatever, at a VCM of 10 on this weapon here. So longsword is the base, and that's the attack speed. And we don't really have any other choices. Like maybe it seems a bit weird, but devs just gives attack speed, and that's really all we want. Now, of course, it also helps we actually get 8% life leads, which means we have a sort of leads on the gear, which is super handy. The poison resist is also kind of fun. And then the little, cannot be frozen, decent amount of defense on the belt as well, all resist. Like, these 2 items are just so goodly together, it's almost unfair. in the eyes of the rounding up this build. Like, there's really no other choice. I could mention just something really fast, however. If you had the budget, you could get a faster hit recovery, crazy stats build, and use Blood Fist. Those are definitely two options, but then you lose out on attack speed and whatnot, so it's a bit of a mess. And then this ring here, I was talking about, this being a duped item and whatnot, and apparently it seems to be that. The stats were perhaps a little bit higher than the one that I made as well, but you could really just go with 2 angelic rings or mana healed ring. That would actually also be a very good option. Another ring you could also go with would be perhaps just a lesser rare ring with like a minimum max damage. Just lesser stats of this. But yeah, this ring here is absolutely beast, and that's probably a reason why it was duped on live servers back then. And then angelic combo for the massive amount of attack rating, life replenish life. This set item, it really needs no introduction. These 2 items are probably the best set items in the game, especially for endgame. I don't think we can really say there's ever been a more powerful 2-piece whatever set item in the game than these 2. And it's really just down to that amount of attack rating that we get from having these 2 items on the character. And then Cow King's boots, absolutely beast. 30% faster one. It also only requires level 13. Imagine, running through the game, boosting yourself to like level 10, and then 3 levels later, boom, you are fucking equipping these boots here. Massive amount of fire damage. Good amount of defense, 20 dexterity, and magic fire. Like, these boots are absolutely insane if they didn't drop from something that requires like level 30, 42 solo. So yeah. And then we can take Twitch Roll. So this, the duels that I'm using in all the items are plus 20 max damage duels. Apparently they're not too hard to get, and they also don't require too high a level to equip, so that's very nice. They can roll down to like, 10-15, which makes them cheaper if you're going to trade for them. But getting that plus 20 max damage roll on the duels is, it's kind of needed if you really want the best stuff. But yeah, Twitch Roll, as I talked about on the Mercer, just amazing. It gives attack speed, which helps with the increased attack speed breakpoint from gloves as well. And yeah, let's move on to the weapon itself. So 20 maximum damage duel with 50% deadly strike and 20 bonus to attack rating. I can just quickly showcase this one. Look at how much attack rating this single weapon gives. There are other versions of weapons that you could consider, but to keep it kind of simple, this is the best one. Links again in the description below if you're interested in other weapon options than just this one. And then Aryan Shield, 4-socketed Aryan Shield even. Now the shield comes with a high amount of block rate, it doesn't require too much strength, and it rolls up to 4 sockets. The roll itself, the perfect roll, like if you could get the best of the roll, it would be 65% enhanced damage. I think it goes down to 44 or something like that, maybe 40% as the lowest, and then attack rating I believe rolls down to like 60 or something, with 121 being the max roll. So yeah, and then it's just plus 80 maximum damage for all these duels here. And obviously the shield is half my damage on the character sheet. So yeah, the shield is almost too good to be true. But I was quite surprised that a shield at this level can roll as well, but apparently it can. And then the helm. God, I had to spend like 30 minutes, an hour learning to create this helm, because I had some problems and I was just looking up the legitimacy of it. But overall it was worth it, because this helm is definitely better than the budget option, and the budget option would just be a helm with 3 sockets with nothing, no stats. I don't think there can be any stats other than just 3 sockets, and those 3 sockets would just have plus 20 max damage duels in them. Like, that's a good option as well. But this helm is a little bit better. 30% enhanced damage with 120 attack rating and 40 life. Apparently this can again roll at this level. I am very surprised about it, but yeah. And obviously I went with 30 defense on the circle itself, because that's the maximum roll, so why not? All about that little difference. So let's just also quickly cover the inventory again. Like, it's just for more attack rating and more life and damage. There's really nothing more to say than that. I could perhaps have gone with like a frost charm, small charm with the frost damage, poison damage, etc. But yeah, it's so gimmicky and I don't really feel like that. I just went with this. But yeah, do consider, charms are also extremely hard to trade for. Some of these charms would definitely be hard to find, no matter your budget. But they make a huge difference if you're able to get such high stats. But that's pretty much it for the gear. So let's move on to some gameplay on Player's 8. So a bit of a spoiler, I will also do a part 2 for this build, where I will of course take it to hell difficulty, oh yeah. But for now we are just gonna do some Player's 8 on normal difficulty. I also kinda just want to have you note on the damage from the Merchant. That might already, you could perhaps just go the less point into sacrifice and get more into might aura, because it actually does boost the damage quite a bit. Yeah, just gotta remember my keybinds now. There you go. You can see the damage is actually highly enhanced on the Merchant, so yeah, I'm starting to think that maybe I should just put more points into might, but for now let's move on. So the cool thing about this build is obviously their AoE. There's not many builds at this level that has seal that it, hits 5 targets and costs so little mana. Like, this build just has freaking everything. AoE, survival, max block. It even comes with some resistance due to the, again, the crazy gear and whatnot. Yeah, if there's like ever been a melee build that has everything, it's really just the Sailor Paladin, which of course also a build that I showed a lot on the channel, and in fact it is my favorite melee build in Diablo 2 as well. If you haven't seen my Dream Seal Paladin guide before, feel free to check that one out. Like, a lot of people say, oh, whirlwind barbs or whatever are the best, but yeah, you just gotta try and make the same sort of build that I did back then. But yeah, this build really just has everything, so I'm kinda intrigued how far we can take this build. But there's probably other builds that you could consider for this level bracket. Like, I hear that a Fisher Druid, a Fire Druid, or as most people know it, I can't really... Fisher? Yeah, however it's pronounced. Basically, that ability should be the strongest PVM build for this level bracket. But if you want, the best PVM and the best PvP, definitely the best PvP anyways, this is definitely the build to go. Like, honestly, I read some freaking comments where some dude with this crazy gear goes into like a public, I don't know, hell game, whatever, and he actually beats like level 60 or level 17 characters in a duel. That's how good this build actually can perform, with charge skill and whatever. So yeah, this build definitely has some potential in that regard, even not even against its own level bracket, but also higher up in the level brackets against other classes. So say, like, I can't imagine like a barbarian is very good at level 19. Maybe I'm wrong about that, but like you could perhaps beat a level 40 barbarian in this build somewhat easily. At least if you're not playing as bad as me, because I don't think I had done much PvP with a smiter before. So yeah, I don't think I'm even gonna try to attempt that. But yeah, you can see like these death lords here, and again, it is players 8, they just die so easily. But yeah, I think before the video gets too long, stay tuned for part 2. It's definitely gonna come soon enough, and then we can try to take this one to the max. Like, how far can I get this character, with a perfected gear, overkill gear, even like some people even say cheat gear because of like this ring here and this helm here. But let's see just how far we can push this character to. It would be fun if I could potentially even get up to like, a point where I'm able to, yeah, I wouldn't say kill Andariel on hell, but you know, who knows? It could be fun to at least see. But yeah, I think that pretty much rounds it up. So thank you so much. This was an idea that was suggested to me, and I definitely just had to kind of test it out myself. It was fun to explore, and I hope you enjoyed it as well. So yeah, thank you so much for watching, and as always, have a good one.